What's your name?
My name is Bradley Floyd.
Where are you
From southern Arkansas, a little town called El Dorado, Arkansas. Population 3,200. Biggest challenge growing up was, I'd probably say my ADD and my lack of focus or care to focus. You know, a lot of people use Ritalin and I used a shitty attitude. It never got better. But I got through it. That was the whole point. Like my whole goal in high school was to start it and end it. And that's what I did. When I was in high school, I imagined a life much smaller, much more chill. And then I was like, no, let me do something different, out the box, you may say. So I came to New Orleans, Louisiana, and became a set electrician, which was not at all something I even knew I could do until I met this dude that said, hey, you could do that, and that's what I did. There's 3 guys out in the field, they're bird watching, right? Old man walks up on them and says, hey man, what y'all doing? They're like, man, we're bird watchers. He said, you know, if you run through this field, you can turn into anything you want to be. They said, no shit, all right. So the first guy takes off running, he says, I want to be an eagle. Poof, turns into eagle, flies away. Second guy runs through the field and he said, I want to be a hawk. Poof, turns into a hawk, flies away. Third guy running down the field, running, trips on a rock, screams out shit, and poof, there he was, big old pile of shit on the ground. If I could change anything about my life right now, I would want more money and less responsibility. You know, here's the thing about personal accountability. Feel like everybody was responsible for themselves, there would be a whole lot less terrible in the world. And if people would take care of themselves and maybe take care of other people respectively, you know, being a good, another thing I'd be proud of would be probably like being a good son, a good family person, loving and caring about my family would be a positive thing. When I was in Arkansas, some of the things that I did was I was not a youth leader, but I helped out with the youth in raising, you know, young minds about caring about life and doing positive things instead of hitting up back roads and getting drunk with their friends and, you know, unprotected sex and all that crazy madness. So I was thinking that like, I like to give back to the people and to the community.
That's one of the things you're proud of?
Yes, that is one of the things that I'm proud of. Woo, my first job, my first like legitimate job was at a pizza place. It was a mom and pop's family, small thing. I got the gig because my parents were friends with the owners. And so they like hooked me up with a little pizza gig where I delivered pizza to some really interesting characters. Well, the favorite thing about that job was the free pizza that I was getting. But one of my favorite stories that I like to tell is one night I was delivering pizza to this house. And I get to the house and I was walking across the front porch and the windows were open and I look in the windows as I'm walking by and they have a adult movie being played on the big screen TV, and I was like, oh, we're just watching some adult movies. All right, that's cool. So I knock on the door, and the door opens, and it's an 87-year-old man in his bathrobe, and I was like, well, that's gross enough. And so I asked them, like, usually we always ask if they want the cheese and the peppers, and he was like, oh yeah, I would love some cheese and peppers. Lisa in here, she loves them. So not only was he watching an adult entertainment movie, but he was also watching it with, I'm guessing, his wife. Anyway, I went home and washed my hands thoroughly because that's pretty gross. Favorite job is probably the job I do now, which is being a set electrician.
Favorite movie then that you worked on?
Favorite movie that I've ever worked on? You know, I didn't work on it the whole time, but doing G.I. Joe 2 was pretty fun. I had some cool people on that one, and you know, you see somebody on TV and you're like, oh, that's a pretty big dude, and then you see that person in person and you're like, wow, that's a massive human being. So yeah, that was pretty entertaining. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people view me in a very good light. They enjoy my company. Every time I come in, I see somebody that I've known. They're always excited to see me and happy to see me, and that's because I try to bring a happy outlook on situations, even if there's not a happy outlook on the situation. I'm a big believer of some of the regrets I have in my life that I'm just going to have to be buried with them. They're just going to stick with me. They keep me more focused on not going back down those dark roads. So I just feel like some of those things I'm just going to be buried with and be okay with. I try to be as chilled and laid back as I can be when I'm thinking about my self-image. I don't want to be the high-stressed person that's always yelling at people. I just want to be able to, see a situation, get in the situation, and do the situation with a cool head. Chill vibes.
You're too good at it.
Ooh, do I view myself as intelligent? I feel like I have some pretty smart moments, but I kind of enjoy having a lot of ignorant moments because I like to keep people on their toes. So I feel like they don't know exactly what they're getting from me a lot of times. So yeah, about 50-50. The best decision I've ever made was a few years ago. I had a buddy call me on the phone when I was doing some really crappy welding and fiberglass work. And he said, "Hey man, you don't need to do that anymore. You need to come hang out and do some movie stuff." And I said, "You know what? You're right." And so the best move that I've ever made was coming back and doing the thing that I loved. And it's got me more friends, more positive people in my life than I've had. The only downfall of all of that is that I'm farther away from my family, which hurts them, but I feel like they raised me to be an independent, strong person, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So, living it on. I'm a put the team on my back kind of guy. I'm a hard worker. And I feel like through my hard work, I want other people to see it and want to also do the hard work too, not just watch me do it and sit back and be like, "Oh no, Brad will handle it." I want people to feel like they want to do as hard work that I'm doing. I use it in the way that I go to work to prove a point that I know what I'm doing and that I'm capable of doing it. And like I said, I want people to see it too and want to be able to do the same work and not take advantage. And sometimes, you get people to take advantage, but a lot of other times you get people that also want to do great work with you.
What's your greatest weakness?
My greatest weakness, I would say I'm probably a little too laid back. Kind of, won't speak my mind on a lot of things because I don't, it's more like I don't care situation. Like I don't know, I'm just too laid back about my opinion, and so I let other people make an opinion even if it's wrong. I want to say that I am. I wanted to be farther along in life. I wanted to be better at this point at being an adult, basically. But yeah, it's an everyday growing thing. You gotta wake up every morning and just try to do better than you did the day before. That's all you can ask for. I just want to be a better person than I am today. That's the only thing that I would want to change, and I'm going to change in the future, is to do better than I am doing. That's all I can ask for. All right, if I found the classic genie in the bottle and had 3 wishes, my first wish would be the classic curing of all world hunger, because that seems like a pretty important thing all around the globe to take care of. So I knocked that out. Everybody needs to be a little bit fatter. Second wish, all the power without any of the power. As in, like, no, that's not correct. That's not what I want to say. Money. Give me all the money. Give me all the money, and so that I can spread it around to the good people that I want to also have good lives around me. And the third one is classic Aladdin, in which I would let the genie go free. Go ahead, genie. You don't have to be trapped in this crappy life of granting crappy human beings their undeserved wishes. If I had 3 days left on Earth, not dying, but probably dying. If I had 3 days left, I would want to make sure and spread the love to the people that knew me, that also loved me, and I would want to give them hugs and kisses and tell them what they mean to me. Then I think I would, do something that I've never done before, to live like a wild, crazy, like skydiving, and then like on my last day, I would pack up and get ready to go to Mars, because that'd be what I'd be doing. I'd be just going to Mars. Some good advice that I've heard is to, keep your head down, work hard, be kind, and good things will happen. I had a buddy one time look at me and was like, man, just let me take your beer and go do it. So hold my beer, watch this. It's probably some of the worst advice I've ever got in my life. But other than that, like, how do you say this? Like, the negative advice is the worst advice. Like somebody, telling you that you aren't capable of doing it, so you shouldn't even try. Those would be some of the advice that I've heard that it's just like nonsense. But hold my beer, watch this was probably the worst.
I wanted to give him some advice. What would you tell him?
The advice I give them is work hard, don't listen to the naysayers, and do what you want to do, because the world is full of people telling you what they think you should do. And that's not what you're here for. You're here to create your own life and do your own thing. Yeah, it's not even that too, and like life lesson, like live your life. Don't worry about other people's lives, and don't try to stick your nose where it doesn't belong. And if people need your help, always try to help them in any kind of things, such as like doing interviews or moving from your house. Those kind of things. They're, it's the small things. It's always the small things that could be the biggest thing to somebody else. And that's all that matters.
I love it.
Oh, man. I should have choked that 14-year-old kid out a long time ago. Told him, don't do it. It's not that cool, because it's really not cool to smoke cigarettes. Camera, people watching this, not cool to smoke cigarettes. Don't do it. All right, back to interview. Quitting smoking is a pretty hard challenge, because it's the lack of nicotine that's in my body. If I wouldn't have had to begin with, I'd been like a fun-loving, cool dude. And now that it's a part of my body in which I need, I can lose my shit from time to time in situations where I should have never lost my shit. So yeah, that one's a pretty rough one to beat. So don't do it. My first memories would have to be, kindergarten, when you walk into a room and you're a head and a half taller than everybody, and everybody's really afraid of you because you're way bigger than them, and they don't understand how this dude is so much bigger. And also, like, I was a lovable guy, so like I would like go up to these kids and give them gentle hugs, which would be me literally picking children up and hugging them at a foot and a half taller than them. So yeah, some of those memories, getting the black crayon for just being too excited. So yeah, being a massive person in a little person world would be my first memories. So many good things. The perfect meal would be the classic grilled to perfection steak with the mac and cheese, because it's a goodie. With a potato and some green beans would be the legit meal. That would be the one where I'd be like, all right, I ate. You can take me to the chair now. I'm done. That would be it. I guess I would tell the world to not to be so sensitive about things that, aren't that big of a deal. Like, this country was built on hands and feet and backs of real people that went against the grain and did it themselves. And to take offense over, red cups at Starbucks or whatever they're all mad about nowadays. Flags, come on, flags? There's people starving in countries and we're worried about flags. Get over it. Come on, give me a break.
About God,
Let me tell you about some religion and some God. The most important thing that you have to remember is that you need to believe in something. Be it God, Buddha, whatever Tom Cruise is into. I don't really know that religion, but as long as you believe in something, that's the most important thing. I feel like, we're too busy on who's doing this and all doing this when we're all trying to get to the same place, if that place exists. But at the end of the day, the rules are simple. Be kind to one another. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. And you don't need any kind of guide to tell you that. You just need to be a good human being and believe in something, anything, even if it's wrong.